Hey, good morning, Gasaholics. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got Gas, the morning edition. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, racing is getting back on track. Well, somewhat. Let's put it that way. Let's look at it right now. Currently, Pennsylvania legislators are looking to allow motorsports to resume, and they have passed committee and moves to the House floor in Pennsylvania. Now, it's House Bill 2489. It would allow outdoor recreational activities, including professional and amateur motorsports, to resume immediately under certain conditions. Now, HB 2489 would provide desperately needed economic stimulation to areas most impacted by the energy order or the emergency order through responsible resumption of motorsports. Doesn't say what responsible is. It expresses support for local automotive markets and would require all races to be safely conducted in accordance with federal CDC guidelines. You're going to see plexiglass screens up between you and the guy sitting next to you. You're going to have to keep 6 seats between you and the person next to you. Not quite sure. Recognizes racing facilities provide a legal alternative to street racing. Wow, they finally noticed that. And honors the state's rich tradition of racing dating back generations. We're talking about Pennsylvania here. Hello, Michelle. How you doing this morning? Ken Jeffries and Pete Muriello. All right, so that's what they're doing. Now, the SEMA, specialty equipment manufacturers, are looking into this. Now, they support legislation 2489. It's been introduced in Pennsylvania, and it'll allow outdoor recreational activities to continue or to start up again. Currently, the governor's emergency business closure order does not allow any recreational activity undertaken or viewed outdoors for entertainment, competition, education, or pleasure. Basically, you can't do anything, and you must enjoy it. The bill requires such activities to adhere to social distancing. Each car must stay a car length behind. Oh, well, as far as spectators, I'm sure that's what it means. So the bill passes the House on the state government and awaits consideration by the full House. It passed the House committee. It's moved on to the full House. We'll let you know when we hear about that. Now, on the other side of that, yes, there's more. Okay, let's take a look and see where I've got that. I know it's here someplace. Yes, North Carolina. All right, Ken Jeffries, what do you think of NASCAR barring the Confederate flag? Mixed emotions on that one, Ken. I know what they say it stands for, but if you read the history of what the Confederate flag or what has been associated as the Confederate flag actually means, it has nothing to do with the Confederacy, although it does have something to do with Confederacy. My feeling is a little. I'm conflicted on this one, because I know it was used as a symbol of the Confederate Army and the Confederate States. I know that it actually meant something different before that. Its religious connotations and so forth. As far as banning it, how much of our history are we going to ban? How much history are we going to hide? What part of our history are we going to allow to continue to be known? Right now, we have lost a lot of our history. We have statues being taken down. We have statues and memorials being defaced. It's a serious situation. I'd rather stick with the car stuff. As far as the Confederate flag, I'm conflicted on it. I think we're making a bigger deal out of it than need be. But it is considered a symbol of the South and the Confederacy, which was also the Democrats. So, what are you going to do? It's our history. It's this country's history. It is part of the history. We don't necessarily need to make it a symbolism of the good this country has done, but we need to look at the origins of it as well, and not just what people associate it with. I don't know what kind of financial hit it's going to take on NASCAR, and I think it's going to take more of a hit on NASCAR from fans than it will be sponsors. And I think the fan base is more upset by the ruling on the flag than their sponsors. And I think they're looking at the money. And there's more money coming from sponsors than there are from fans. And it'll all have to wait and see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But it is a tough situation. All right, Chris Costanza, back to talking about cars. No religion or politics. Bob, you're taking away from that. Yeah, well, this is kind of a mixed thing. It has religion, it has politics, and it has racing, all in one thing. But now let's get to North Carolina. All right, here an enterprising track operator, and I'll call him enterprising because he looked at something different. North Carolina racetrack ordered shut down by their governor after it holds a couple of races with capacity crowds. Now, they called it a peaceful protest, and it kind of was. They were protesting being locked down. They were protesting no racing being allowed. They were protesting the COVID-19 issues as they are. And whether that was good, bad, or indifferent, it is a protest. But they enjoyed themselves. So this North Carolina track was shut down by the state's health department on the orders of the governor after they held a couple of races to near capacity crowds. Now, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services issued an 8-page abatement order to Ace Speedway, and I think I'm pronouncing the city right, Alamance County, claiming that its fourth event, planned for June 19th, placed the North Carolina public at imminent risk and could lead to a strained healthcare system, and thus had to be shut down. Now, I looked at the numbers in that area, and they're very low. Ace Speedway held races on May 23rd, May 30th, and June 6th, drawing approximately 2,000 spectators each, and possibly as many as 4,000 on one of the races. In the most recent gathering, according to the CNN affiliate there, it wasn't promoted as a race, but as a peaceful protest of injustice and inequity everywhere. Protests have been taking place across cities in the U.S. for a while now, and they've been very violent. This was a very peaceful protest, I guess you could say, where they actually enjoyed themselves, and a race happened in the middle of the protest. So it's a tough situation. We're all up against this. Irwindale Raceway started racing again. The drag strip opened up, but it is only opened up to 100 cars at a time, no spectators, and only crew members. And there's a limit on the number of crew members, and you've got to prove which crew you're with or which team you're with, and they're monitoring that. So they've been able to open up. They've been able to get the venue going. Now, they're also going to do test and tune, or not test and tune, but track rentals where you can get in there. And, Ron Safford says the coffee's on. All right, I can choose some right now. All right, so Irwindale is opened up. Now, other tracks are looking at doing the same thing. And hopefully they can get people to come there and race their cars. Now, you're not going to have the spectators. So with that, the cost of operation goes up. Because the reality is the spectators pay for the track operation, not the driver's entry fees. That's a minimal part. It's not much. On a good night at Irwindale, we get about 230, 240 cars. On a good night, we'd also have about 2,000 spectators. So 200 cars paying what 2,000 spectators pays. Where's the money coming from? Spectators. So that's what they're looking at. So right now, the cost to race is greater than it has been because of the lack of spectators being allowed. Whether that will change is going to be up to our governor, and we've got to see what provisions he will allow or what make to allow for racing to happen again. And that is a big if. So there's no car shows, there's no racing, there's no gatherings. Now, we have been to a number of gatherings. We've taken our cars out, we've gone on cruises. We were on one with over 100 cars this past weekend. And it's a lot of fun to get back in the car and drive and see other cars. Hi, Jess. How you doing this morning? Jessica Lundgren from Sweden is there. And we're going to get our Zoom call back going maybe next week. Chris Costanza says NHRA gets back at it. Yes, this weekend in Fallon, Nevada, divisional race. But again, they're limited on spectators. Sam Browns is watching. He's one of our racers at Irwindale Drag Strip. Welcome here. All right, so what's going to happen? We don't know. Car shows canceled left and right. Some of the biggest in the nation have been canceled. Woodward Dream Cruise, from what I understand, is going to be canceled. Hot August Nights in Reno, and it's gone. Done for the year. That was a huge event. I've been there. A number of my friends go every year. It's a great event and a great gathering. All the casino parking lots get full of cars. They cruise downtown Reno. It is a fun event. They're 4 and 5 people deep at the curb to see the cars. And that's where it goes. And that's where the problem is right now. With the required social distancing, we can't have events like that. And we're finding now on these cruises we go to, we end up someplace. We ended up at Bob's Big Boy. We ended up at in and out in a mall area. We all parked. Most people were wearing masks. I didn't. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm uncomfortable wearing a mask. I don't wear it all the time. Now, am I endangering anybody? Don't know. Ken Jeffries is saying, is it too early to tell where the car shows will be coming back? They probably won't come back for this year, Ken. We may see some here in Southern California in the fall at this point. But it all depends on whether or not our governor lifts the restrictions on this. And with the numbers of COVID cases now being reported as increasing again, I'm not sure it's going to happen. I think they're going to put more restrictions on us, or they're going to keep the current restrictions in place for a longer period of time. I don't know when this is going to end. It's, even Ventura, where I live, has reported 80 new cases in the last 2 weeks. Now, is that a great number out of 850,000 people? No, it's a very low number. But as long as the numbers increase and there are people reporting increased numbers, I think the government's going to be less likely to let us resume, go have our car shows, have our races, have any sports, baseball, football, basketball, any gathering with people, regardless of what it is, whether it's even, we're talking birthday parties, funerals, any gathering of people. The state is going to be against that, and to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Both sides of the politics on this one, I see them both. I understand them both. Jessica Lundgren is saying she's fine. That's good. The weather is starting to get warmer in Sweden. And it's almost drag racing season there, and all the people are missing it, just like in the U.S. Yeah, I understand. And it's a tough thing. A race I'm supposed to be going to in Great Britain just got canceled officially the other day. So Dragstalgia, the largest nostalgia drag racing event outside the U.S., has been canceled, along with all their other racing. So here you've got situations where racetracks, which are dependent upon income and do their budgeting based on projected race dates, they're losing that money. They don't have that money. How are they going to stay in business? And we've seen a couple of tracks that have closed down for the year. They said, forget it, we're not doing it anymore. And one is not going to even reopen. And we're getting from Neil Panks over in Great Britain, UK Centipod. They're planning some sort of event, but without spectators. Like I said, spectators are the ones who put the majority of the money back in the pot. And Centipod, the largest drag strip in the United Kingdom, and possibly Europe itself, is really in trouble because of the lack of ability to hold races. Denny Sanders, support the Green New Deal. Yeah, well, that's something else, Denny. And it's a tough situation, folks. We're really up against it. You and I are not experts on this. I can look at the numbers and give you my opinion. My opinion doesn't count. Your opinion doesn't count. What does the government think? What is their opinion? That is what we have to live by right now. Whether we agree with our governors or presidents or senators or Congress, it really doesn't matter what you think, because they are setting the laws. They are setting the rules. And that's what we have to abide by. Like it or not, that is the climate we're in right now. So wear your mask to be courteous to others, even if you don't particularly care for them. Wear your mask if you decide you need to wear a mask. If you feel more comfortable wearing a mask, wear the mask. Go to some events. We're going to cruise days all the time. Every weekend, we have gone to a cruise the last month. We're going to miss one this weekend because we're going to go out of town and visit some family. But they're great ways of seeing cars and getting back and driving your car, enjoying your car. Pulling into a parking lot and just stopping, that's not enjoying your car. You built it to drive it, so drive it, enjoy it. Yes, Demi Santos, can't wait for the smell of top fuel. Jeff Stillwell from Great Britain is also watching us right now. He's getting ready for Bonneville. Now, as far as we know, Bonneville is on. They've got the approval from the city. They've got the permits. They're checking the salt right now. They're starting to groom it. They're going to get ready. And August is the date for the Bonneville Speed Week, and it is still on. And I hope it goes. We're going to go up there if it does. Jeff Stillwell coming in. Going to try and be the 5th British driver to break the 300 mile per hour mark. Now, he's got a bet going with Ron Hope to see who's going to do it first. They both have similar cars. Who's going to get to that 300 mile an hour mark? Is it going to be Ron Hope, or is it going to be Jeff Stillwell, Salt Flat Racer? We're going to see. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? Well, actually, it's evening for you in the UK, isn't it? And Jeff's getting his car ready, new front axle put into it. They just did some more electrical upgrades. They got a wing on the thing, and it's going to hold it down on the ground. He's already got the record of 258 miles an hour. Isn't that correct, Jeff? He'll post it here if I'm not correct. He's shooting for 300. Now, he did the 258 with 1,500 horsepower, and he lost a few pistons on the way. But he did it. He got it. He backed it up. He holds the record, the world record at Bonneville for land speed in his Roadster. Well, they put a bigger bullet in it now. It's got over 5,000 horsepower. And the goal, 300 miles an hour. And Jeff confirmed that, yes, 258 miles an hour is the current record in his class with his car. Now, they've updated the car just a little bit. Well, they put a bigger motor in it, so it needed a bigger gas tank or fuel tank. It's running on nitro. Well, bigger fuel tank didn't fit in the existing chassis. They had to stretch the chassis, so it's a little bit longer. Now, at the speed they're going to travel, there weren't enough bars in the roll cage, so they had to make a new roll cage. Now, they also found the front axle was a little tweaked. They made a new front axle. They put on bigger brakes. They've put on the bigger fuel tank. They've got dual mags on that Hemi. That is a John Beck built motor, no relation to me. And it's going to put out over 5,000 horsepower. Let's see. Neil Pangs is saying, Santa Pod's asking if you have purchased tickets to have credit, use the credit to purchase tickets in the future. Yes. I talked to Keith Bartlett just the other day, about last week. We did an interview for a car club in Spain together. And we talked about that. And hopefully that's what the supporters of Santa Pod are going to do. Don't ask for a refund, guys. If you've purchased tickets in advance, keep these tracks alive. They cannot function without events. Please, they'll let you come back in next time for the next race. Use the ticket that you've already purchased. Use that credit towards another purchase later on. Don't ask for a refund. That'll really hurt the racetrack. So let's support them. All right. Racing coming back, slowly but surely. We'll see what happens. Now, on that North Carolina one, here's the kicker. Here's something that CNN is saying. The CNN couldn't confirm the crowd violations at this North Carolina track. But they did say the sheriff will not enforce this rule. So it's an interesting situation there. They may continue to hold races. Now, in this county of about 160,000 people, they've had 553 confirmed coronavirus cases. They've had 31 deaths. Now, according to the county's website, North Carolina has at least 36,000 coronavirus cases and over 1,000 deaths. That is for the whole state, not just the area where the racetrack is. The area or the county the racetrack is in has had 31 deaths and 553 confirmed cases. So we're holding 150,000 people hostage for 500 cases. The deaths are unfortunate, but we have deaths from flu. We have deaths from many other things. So, again, mixed emotions for me. I see both sides of it. I'm not a supporter of either side completely. I have doubts about both. You should too. So anyway, all right, racing coming back slowly but surely. It's summertime. Hopefully things clear up and we go back to racing action. I'm Hot Rod Bob. Been on the soapbox a little bit today, but thank you for joining. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got gas, the morning edition, and I do appreciate you being here. Hey, sign up for our YouTube channels, both Two Tired Guys, that's TOO, Tired Guys, and GAAS-Great American Auto Scene. We both have our own YouTube channels, so you can watch past GAAS. I'm trying to post all the older GAAS shows on the website right now as we get new videos out, because remember, Talking About Cars has been a radio-based show with just audio. Well, now we're working into getting video, and we're doing Zoom interviews. So we're going to be making videos for Talking About Cars, and it's going to be on Two Tired Guys as well as the evening GAAS show, and we're going to shoot for another GAAS show in the evening next Tuesday night. Hope you join us. It'll be on Zoom. I'll post a link. You can be part of the studio audience and participate with us on GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene. You guys have a great day. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got gas. Sponsored by Blue Eyes, Beach Underwriting Associates, Tucker Tire, Irwindale Speedway, Irwindale Drag Strip, and Service Tech for all your garage equipment needs. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas, the morning edition. Thank you for being a gasaholic. Take care now.